Hello and welcome to my channel. I go by LowLifeKitten here and I typically cover things that either bother me or interest me. One of the videos I did care about, maybe a little bit too much, was in my last Trisha Paytas video. I covered some of her problematic past and was surprised to see so many people in my comments defending her actions. We covered Trisha's continuous racial insensitivity, her disrespect towards the trans community, and her disgusting lies when it comes to her mental health. But one comment stuck out to me the most, and I felt my blood pressure raise to about 1,000. I remember years ago watching a video where someone dug up old tweets where she and Jeffree Star were saying very inappropriate things to a teen. But it was years ago, and the person I saw reporting on it was Create Show Art, so it was either unreliable information or lost since her channel is deleted. This commenter on my last video also stated that she didn't know how reliable this information was. So I took the time to look into it myself. And what I found was disturbing. Not only did I verify that this statement was true, but I found that Trisha is the YouTube version of Amber Heard. She has been physically and mentally abusive towards multiple exes, including her current husband. I will be going more into detail in this video, so please stick around as I feel this is a serious topic that has been failed to be talked about or even questioned. Since clearly Trisha is still painted as a changed woman, even though her actions speak loads about her toxic behavior. The first thing that I'm going to bring up here is her disturbing tweets towards minors, since it was that information that fueled me to do further research into her past and present displays of abuse. Back in 2011, Trish made some disturbing tweets involving Justin Bieber, who at the time was freshly 16. Justin likes curves. Baby, I know you're underage, boo-boo, but these bumps and humps on my body would gladly go to jail for you. I'm 24 years old, and I would never look at a 16-year-old and say something so vile. I work with teens at my work, and talking to them is like talking to a baby. Some people might defend this, as I hear people on the internet claim that a 16-year-old would be lucky to pull a 23-year-old woman. Like, they should wear it as a badge of honor for them being groomed or violated while underage. Whether or not you like Justin Bieber, we all have to admit that this man was sexually preyed on from a very young age by not only Trisha, but multiple others. All of them suffered no consequences for talking to or physically harassing a 16-year-old boy in a sexually charged way. Trisha is another example of just, saying stuff on the internet that you shouldn't say, especially when it comes to minors. It's not a joke. It is disgusting. Trisha, in another tweet, even admits to herself and the rest of her audience that being in love with a 16-year-old boy is illegal, but she doesn't care. Okay, time to admit it. I'm in love with Justin Bieber. Is that so wrong? Is that so illegal? Yes, Trisha, it is wrong. It is illegal, and I will never understand how your brain-dead fan base somehow looks over this vile crap by just saying, it's just Trisha. You and your fans act like this is some more trolling on your part. It's not. It's gross behavior that should have never been posted to the internet at all. Go into a therapist, get a real diagnosis before you start posting on the internet like this. We both know you have the money to do it. You're going to end up making somebody a victim with this mindset. And wait, she's already done that. She's already made somebody a victim. But that will come out later in this video. Personally, I find it disturbing when someone my age wants to get with a 18-year-old. To me, that's a child. Back in 2011, Trisha seemed to become infatuated with another 17, almost 18-year-old celebrity by the name of Scotty. Most know him from American Idol, where he was able to impress the world with an arguably amazing voice. The talented young man at the time was the heartthrob for the teens at the time who watched the show, which we'd all say, oh, that's cute, right? My Scotty is on Jay Leno tonight. He's my inappropriate underage fantasy. I love you, boo-boo. # jailbait status. If you said that you think that's fine, I would say that you're weird. Some might argue, but LowLifeKitten, he was almost 18, that's fine. And what I have to say to that is almost isn't is. And I also find it weird for a 23-year-old to want to sleep with an 18-year-old. 18-year-olds aren't as in tune with their adult selves. 23-year-old has a lot more life experience, which leads them to be easily gaslit and manipulated by a much older partner. The sad thing is, this isn't the only tweet where she has posted weird tweets surrounding minors. But there's only so many times I can say that this is wrong. It's up to you on how you take these tweets. Personally, I believe this was just a pretense for a cycle of abuse. What do you think when you think of a woman hitting a man? A, that's abuse. B, it's okay because he's a man. C, women can't abuse men. If you said anything other than A, jump off a cliff head first. DA against men is extremely serious, as Trisha has mentioned before.
People not taking domestic abuse, domestic violence, physical abuse seriously if it's a man, or if it's like a woman doing it to a man, like, it's effed up.
Too bad she didn't listen to her own advice, as we all know that Trisha has been with Moses, Gila from H3 podcast brother. On the Frenemies podcast with Ethan Klein, Gila's husband, Trisha talks about an argument that the two had that turned physical due to Trisha's toxic behavior.
Like, upstairs, and I took his phone. I saw like other DMs to girls. He like not tackle me, but like we went to the floor, and so then I like punched back, but I never punched him. I wasn't like, hey, you piece of shit. Like, I wasn't like that.
You guys had a tussle?
He had bruises. So of course he's like, oh my God, like, look. And I was just like, I didn't do it like on purpose. I wasn't like that. You know what I mean? It was a tussle.
You guys were fighting over his phone? Oh my God.
Trisha claims that she took her boyfriend's cell phone and then claims that she found DMs to another girl. Instead of dealing with this in a responsible, reasonable manner, she refused to give the phone back and wouldn't let him leave the house. This caused her boyfriend, now husband, to attempt to grab the phone from her after 12 hours of her continuing to stop him from accessing his own cell phone as well as his own car keys.
Well, then I took his keys, and so he was trying to get the keys back. But can I say...
Yes.
How long did we fight for the keys? Like 12 hours?
She then claims that he tackled her, and instead of handing the phone over, she continues to fight him. Eventually, she punches him in the arm, leaving a massive, I mean massive, bruise. In this disturbing TikTok, Moses puts a finger down for some awful actions that Trisha seems to be fine with the world knowing.
Put a finger down, toxic relationship edition. Put a finger down if they wouldn't let you hang out with the opposite sex. Put a finger down if they wouldn't let you like certain people's photos. Put a finger down if they got mad if you didn't respond in 5 minutes. Put a finger down if they ever got physical or threw something at you. Put a finger down if they ever forced you sexually. Put a finger down if you got to keep your location services on. Put a finger down if they threaten to kill themselves if you tried to break up with them. Put a finger down if they've called you names. Put a finger down if they called you overly sensitive, but really they were just being mean. And lastly, put a finger down if they've ruined your life.
Including forced sexual contact, throwing items at him, physically hitting him, and verbally putting him down. This is disgusting. Again, I have absolutely no idea how somebody can defend this woman when she is so open about how horrible she is. I could never imagine my husband putting a finger down for any of these questions, and if he did, I would feel awful about myself. But you can tell, with her, this is all shits and giggles, because she is smiling like a clown, like none of this phases her.
Put a finger down if they ever forced you sexually.
What's insane is in my last video, there were people still defending her actions even after this was brought to their attention. The craziest comment thread under this video has to be this one. At LowLifeKitten, if Moses had a problem with it, he would have left her. He's a grown man and isn't dependent on her. You're weird that their relationship bothers you so much when you don't know either of them personally. Get a life and worry about yourself and your own relationships. And I responded, yeah, now let's compare that to a woman being beat by her husband. Why wouldn't she leave? Fear, financial stability, or blind love, right? DV is just as bad, rather if it's a man or a woman doing the abuse. Your comment is ignorant and out of touch. Most DV victims need support to leave and help recognizing when they're being abused. My mother stayed with my stepdad for 7 years, all while he hit her, cheated on her, and even pistol whipped her at one point. I recommend you take your own advice and don't speak on something you clearly do not understand. She hit him so hard he was left with a baseball-sized bruise. I'm about to come out with a video about her cycle of abuse with multiple partners. I recommend you watch it. You clearly need understanding here. Defending someone's actions by victim blaming is disgusting. But if you think that she has only done this to her current husband, you would be wrong, as she had multiple spouses that had been victims over the years, including David Dobson. There's a clip where Trisha and David recreate a toxic, manipulated behavior that Trisha had targeted at him.
I literally didn't do anything.
I mean, what she did, wasn't that bad.
I was blocking the door.
For an hour and a half.
I sat there. He went into that bedroom and I just sat there. But then...
She sat right here.
Wait.
She sat here like a prison guard. And I was like, Trisha, get out of the way. I'm going home. I want to go home. I need some time to myself. She's like, no. No.
Holy shit.
She refused to let him leave the house. Sounds familiar. When things got heated between them, and then had the nerve to call him overdramatic.
David, everything's happy here. It's a harmonious situation.
Oh my god, he's so dramatic.
Why?
I'm not being dramatic.
You're being so dramatic. Here we go.
She even claims that she wasn't mad and that it was him with the problem, even though she was physically blocking the man from going to his personal home.
Why is it so awkward in here?
And it's not. I don't know.
Did you guys get in a fight?
No, I didn't. He did.
What?
I got into a fight with myself.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't fighting it. There was nothing. I wasn't mad about anything. Jason was mad about so many things this past week, so you can ask him. I just wasn't mad about anything.
This is gaslighting at the finest. No, you're crazy, even though I'm the one showing crazy behavior. Like, what? That's basically what she said in this video. In another TikTok, she tries to disguise abusive behavior from a drug-induced rage as a manic episode. Trish committed multiple crimes here and even put a man through what I would call trauma.
Manic seems to be the new fun internet buzzword. People who actually experience mania tell me the craziest shit.
So besides from the obvious that you see online and on frenemies, and it is like an ugly side of being manic in a manic episode, one you didn't see was the reason my boyfriend blocked me a year and a half ago, which ultimately was the best for both of us. I got high on meth on my birthday, demanded he talk to me, and when he said he wasn't going to see me on my birthday and go to sleep, I drove over to his house super high, crashed into his house, banged on all the doors, jumped into his pool naked, kicked and screamed through every window of the house. He got so scared after 3 hours, he left, and I chased him in my car to follow him and got in a car accident. It's not pretty.
Imagine some methed out chick slams into your house with her car, bangs on your doors for 3 hours, and then jumps into your pool naked. That right there is scary enough. Now imagine you decided to try to get away from this method, and she chases you down in her car, which ends in you crashing your car. She was lucky she didn't get put in jail that night, because if it was me, she was doing this shit too, I would have her forcibly removed from my pool naked and in handcuffs. This is disgusting to call this a manic episode. She claims that she has BPD, but then goes on to say that she's having manic episodes. You can Google it yourself. People with borderline personality disorder do not have manic episodes. That's kind of a bipolar thing. True manic symptoms, often with hallucinations, are the hallmark of type 1. and these symptoms are not seen in the same way in BPD. Bipolar type 2 is more challenging of a diagnosis to differentiate from BPD because the classic manic episode is absent. So on the surface, it can appear more like BPD. The difference between BPD and bipolar when it comes to these kind of episodes is that people with BPD will have high and low hours, while people with bipolar will go through mania for multiple weeks. That is a huge difference because, at least with me personally and my bipolar disorder, I will have mania that consists of me spending all my money, not sleeping for days on end. I think my limit was like 3 days before I finally went down, and this runs in my family. So BPD is not hereditary. It's something that you get from environmental trauma. Bipolar disorder, on the other hand, is something that you get from your family also having it. So my mother has bipolar disorder, therefore I ended up with bipolar disorder. Closer the relative, the more likely you are to be diagnosed bipolar. But at the end of the day, she was high on meth, behaving like a meth head. Calling abuse mania is disrespectful and damaging to people like me. People like this is why people say, well, you don't act crazy, you can't be bipolar. When I tell them my diagnosis, you make us look like abusive monsters. Stop using mental health as an excuse for abuse. Well, that was a hard note to leave off on. Jeez. All I know is I don't like this woman. At all. All the shit that she has done needs to be addressed. If we don't hold her accountable, who will? She clearly doesn't do it herself. Get some help, Trisha. Get an actual diagnosis and get a better therapist because clearly you need it. You definitely have the money to do so. And I can also understand why there was also some people in my comments stating that they were concerned for the well-being of your child. When you have a history of abusive behavior and self-involved behavior and just being egotistical to the max, people are going to be concerned for your child's well-being. This isn't me saying that I believe that she is abusing her child, nor do I think that she's abusing her child, but I can understand the concern from other people looking in. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing, and I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments. Because, am I crazy? Is this not a big deal? Am I overreacting? I want to hear, so comment down below. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.